Last night's debate makes Dumb and Dumber look like Citizen Kane. Some call it a disaster, others a train wreck. Even the National Institute of Dumpster Fires has weighed in. Quote, please do not mention dumpster fires in the same breath as that debate. The debate was far worse. Glad we got that quote. So how bad was it? This bad.
Bernie, I was talking about my turn. Have you called on me before?
I would like
Senator Sanders.
If you get nominated, we'll be relitigating this all year.
Do what I asked.
Look, first of all,
Bernie, let me go.
I think we were talking about math, and it doesn't take 2 hours to do the math. Because let's talk about what it adds up to. We don't.
Why am I stopping? No one else stops.
Question, new topic,
campaign. I don't know where you got the impression.
If you could honor the rules of the debate, thank you.
Senator Sanders, you're allowed a quick response, and then we would like to allow the other candidates.
Moderator, guys.
Senator Sanders?
Moderator, is my turn?
He'd ask respectfully if you would all please try to keep to the time.
Good idea.
I've seen more order in a prison riot. The constant over and under talking created an apt metaphor for the Dems, a daycare center with no supervision and no diapers. Now, intra-party debates require infighting, but are they in the same party, really? They were like different species exchanging battle cries. Sadly, the most capable adult could barely tell a joke.
I really am surprised that all of these, my fellow contestants up here, I guess would be the right word for it, given nobody pays attention to the clock. I'm surprised they show up because I would have thought after I did such a good job in beating them last week that they'd be a little bit afraid to do that.
That was sad. Not as sad as watching him apologize to a leftist for curbing crime, because once you do that, they smell blood. And then there's no forgiveness, only punishment, unless you're an actual criminal. But those aren't the big problems. It's way worse. That wasn't a debate. It was a launch party on the Titanic. Last night, you saw the opposition toxin at work, where every idea is positioned as A versus B, men versus women, black versus white, gay versus straight. So when you talk about uniting a country, it's met with a smirk. Unity means patriotism, which is really oppression driven by bigotry. And capable of uniting behind American ideals of free markets and free minds, they shout about how bad everything is, even when things are great. But things aren't great for everyone, they'll tell you. True, but your divisive message only makes things worse for people who want to do better and who are trying to do better. That's the oppositional mindset. Every answer ends with off with their heads. The only way you can do better is if someone does worse. They've even managed to politicize a global virus. That's not a message. It is a virus, and they're stuck with it. All right, Katie, what were your favorite moments?
Well, I think what you saw last night was, look, last night we're 4 days out from South Carolina, a week out from Super Tuesday. This was the thrashing, the over-talking, people interrupting each other, not sticking to the rules, was a preview of dying thrashing campaigns. This was the last stop for people like Elizabeth Warren, Amy Klobuchar, Mayor Pete. They're done if they don't get any kind of boost out of this debate. And as we've seen, debates haven't really paid off in terms of support for other people. But I thought Elizabeth Warren had the weirdest attack of the night when she went after Mayor Bloomberg for allegedly telling a female employee to kill her baby when she was pregnant, which kind of took away the left's argument on the abortion issue. So, like, on one hand, she's saying abortion is not killing, but then she accuses Michael Bloomberg of telling an employee to kill her baby, which I thought that Democrats were about choice. It was just like a very weird thing for her to say. Yeah. And certainly didn't get her anywhere going into South Carolina on Saturday. Yeah, and they've never been able to back up that claim anyway. Juan, was it CBS's fault or the Dems' fault for that chaos?
Well, I think CBS should have been able to see something that was quite predictable, which is this is the last debate before Super Tuesday. It's not only South Carolina, it's Super Tuesday. And so there are a bunch of people, as Katie was just laying out, who see this as their last shot to make their case before the big vote, not only South Carolina, but Super Tuesday, as I was saying. So to me, understanding that these people are desperate and that they're hungry and that they're going to claw and spit and fume, they should have had better, guardrails to make sure that there wasn't the overtime. I mean, here at this table, I think we make an effort not to overtalk because the audience gets angry. The audience doesn't like it.
Exactly.
And I think it comes across as, lacking not only in decorum, but in effectiveness if you're trying to deliver a message. So I think that's a mistake. I mean, what could they have done? I mean, you think about maybe you don't need moderators in some cases. Lincoln Douglas didn't have a moderator, but I would say that, they should have been very clear about lanes and times, maybe bells and whistles.
We use that, Fox News.
Right, Fox has done the whistles. And had to do it, actually, in 2016 with the Republicans.
Yeah, I think electric shocks would have
been. That's right. That's why we got to get you to be a moderator.
I know, I'll just zap them.
You zap them, you hit them hard, I tell you.
Well, I got to tell you, this was like watching people fight over what kind of coffin they're going to be buried in. I went back and looked at past debate highlights from other cycles to see what I was missing here. And Rubio, Cruz, Christie, Romney, all of these people would decimate any one of these people that we saw last night. Just imagine what Trump would do. It's like a heavyweight versus a featherweight. Bernie Sanders doesn't even win the debate. He just gets to the left of everybody and pounds the podium. He has no depth of knowledge about his own proposals. Yeah. Everything is so thin, you punch him one time and he just says, billionaire. I mean, that's not going to last. He's going to get eaten alive eventually. Mike Bloomberg has no personality. He just memorizes talking points and delivers them like a robot. I've never seen anybody so rich and successful bomb like that before. Be a boss. Then there's Biden, who I guess was more vigorous. But he didn't have any macho moments. He gets run over by a moderator. It's the most pathetic thing I've ever seen. Warren is the most annoying person I think I've ever seen on television. She's intolerable, and I have a very high tolerance level, as you know. And she right now, all she says is, we need. It's like a verbal tick that doesn't stop. She's now running for second place, which is pathetic. Bernie's attack dog. She played the gender card on him, went down in flames, and now she's just carrying his water. Pete is the best debater, but he's a boy. I mean, he looks like a child out there. He frames an issue very concisely, but he doesn't ever punch above his weight class. Every time he tries to hit one of the big dogs, he gets talked over. Amy lost her sense of humor. Where did that go? And Steyer's a passionate guy, but he's like a lizard. He's so hard to look at, you can't take him seriously.
I think you're a Republican, huh?
You know what I mean? Run down all the candidates.
I just think that a lot of this stuff that, we have been saying, we want them to fight. They should be fighting out there. So they're fighting.
But they're not.
But then the thing that really struck me, and comes back to something Katie was saying, when they, like the thing about the baby, you know?
Yeah, it was so
I think
weird.
even if it, by the way, Bloomberg didn't say it was false, he just said, I didn't say that. But
well, that's saying
you know
it's
what?
false.
But to me, no, because then remember, what would have been false is to say that her being fired from the school because she said she was pregnant. This is Elizabeth Warren.
Right.
He never said that was false. That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
But to me, the fact that it gets thrown out there is so damaging to Bloomberg.
So damaging.
And similarly, the whole racist thing about the guns and Sanders, you know.
Yeah, he's getting annihilated out
Well, I don't know if he's getting annihilated because I think he's doing pretty well in this contest, Jesse.
Well, I mean, not by debating. I think his whole success is based on money and ads.
Oh, Bernie?
No, I'm talking about...
But speaking of ads, Dana, what was the worst thing? I mean, not worst. The weirdest and most surreal thing, I've never seen a campaign ad during a debate. Did you see that?
I was at Martha's book signing.
Yeah, you were at
so
Martha's book signing. Okay, so anyway, I'll forget about that, but we should talk about it. Bloomberg had an ad in the debate.
I think it's bold.
But then why don't they all do it?
Well, they don't have the money. That's expensive. That's an expensive ad.
So does this all help? I mean, like, doesn't this just make Trump look better when you see all of this? To Juan's point, it's true. They gotta fight, but it just makes them look smaller.
All incumbent presidents look better during the primary of the other party because you're like, well, gosh, I mean, you might not like him, but at least there's this, that, and then the other thing. I mean, so I think incumbent presidents have such a great advantage. A friend of mine teaches at a major university, and he said that Elizabeth Warren reminds him of the students he likes the least. And then last night, because I did the book signing with Martha, I asked Peter to take some notes for me, and this is one he had for Tom Steyer. this is not like, it's kind of like Jesse's mom text, not as funny, but it says, Tom Steyer, the man has all the presence of a wet tissue, blaming the Senate for the fact that gun control cannot be done. Nobody considers the fact that Obama had both the House and the Senate. And I think when Katie said that they're going after each other, but they're not talking about, like, it's so superficial.
Right.
There's no like actual debate about, okay, well, what would you actually do? What are the issues that you would deal with? But Biden got very good news today with the endorsement from Jim Clyburn and the Palmetto State poll, I guess it's the Palmetto poll, which was the most accurate one for South Carolina in 2016, said Biden is up 35.
Wow.
So the next one is Steyer at 17 and Bernie at 13. So this race could still be way out of whack because Biden could win South Carolina. Doesn't have a lot of money to compete in Super Tuesday.
Well, he just did buy some ads for Super Tuesday, but I got to tell you, California is there and Bernie is in
up,
the lead.
way up.